So what? What's up? It's your girl, Karen Elizabeth, your host of the Single with a Purpose podcast, coming at you to swap stories about life, love, sex, relationships, and spirituality, helping you to overcome those shameful, embarrassing, sarcastic, heartbreaking, this might sound stupid, questions that you have in your heart, and giving you advice for them, swapping beauty for ashes and pain for passion. So every episode, we're going to be answering questions from listeners and their helpful friends, seeking advice about whatever situation they may find themselves in, helping them to find peace and purpose in whatever state they may be. Hey, what's up? It's your girl, Karen Elizabeth, and welcome to another episode of the Single with a Purpose podcast. Let me just say that I am so happy that I am feeling 100% better. Thank you guys so much for your patience. I did take a week off last week as my voice and my spirit was completely unhealthy, and I just really needed to take some time to heal and just be at rest, because I'm telling you, this bug, whatever I have, it has not been nice. But you know what? There's really no excuse, because Oprah does not take days off, okay? She always has a show every day, Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. And usually they're new shows, no reruns. So I'm trying to get my Oprah on. Don't worry, I'm about to get back on it. But let me just say that I am so excited for this episode. It's talking about how to love on purpose, in purpose, with purpose. And I think it's something that we really need to tackle and talk about, because many of us, I think, are going to really identify with what our letter writer has been experiencing. Maybe not the exact same scenario, but we can definitely empathize with some of the experiences that she has been going through. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into this next episode. Dear Single with a Purpose, help. I'm interested in hearing your advice for my friend. Let's just call her Jay in this letter. Jay is a beautiful, humble spirit. She doesn't have a lot of experience when it comes to dating and relationships. She literally didn't go on her first real date until she was 26 and didn't experience her first kiss until she was 28. Jay recently turned 29 in January. She has shared mutual interests with a few guys, but never been in an actual relationship. Jay really desires a relationship and eventually wants to get married. Not sure if this matters, but she's also a virgin waiting for marriage. Anywho, currently there's this guy. We'll call him Lee for this letter. She met Lee on social media. He slid into her DMs back in 2016. He's the guy that took her on her first real date and was later the same guy that she experienced her first kiss with. Lee recently turned 35. Jay is absolutely crazy about this man. He's a gentleman and extremely patient with her. She would probably never admit this out loud, but she's in love with him. But from 2016 to now, they've talked off and on. The reason varied. In the beginning, they didn't live in the same city. She lived in Houston and Lee lived in Shreveport, Louisiana. Later, he moved to Houston as well for work. So in the beginning, it was a combination of long distance and Jay's high expectations on how he should have been pursuing her that caused the relationship not to work. When it wasn't going the way she thought it would, she convinced herself that he wasn't serious and she would cut him off and cut off the friendship. He didn't always agree, but respected what she wanted. Later, after really sorting through her feelings and realizing her faults, she reached out to him again, and they would try again and again and again, and the same things would happen. Jay finds fault with something Lee did or said, major or minor, and she flakes. She's super guarded and afraid of being hurt. So if she felt justified in stopping the friendship, she would do so just to protect herself. But it never changed how she really felt about Lee. Jay really likes this guy. She thought that cutting him off would prove a point, that would make him want to try harder when really it just showed her immaturity. Fast forward. Jay accepts a job in China in 2018 during the time she and Lee were not in an active friendship. They hadn't spoken in months, and Lee had been in a relationship with someone else and broken up by this time. When he finds out that Jay is moving, he sends her a message wishing her the best, which led to Jay wanting closure and suggesting they meet to talk. They meet and discuss everything that ever happened during their friendship/almost relationship. They gained perspective on what the other was feeling and thinking during those times of conflict and forgave each other for those different things. Lee shared how much he still had feelings for Jay and vice versa. They even talked about marriage a little bit. Finally, Jay felt like they were on the same page. They had agreed to just see what would happen and planned to spend more time together before Jay left for China. They hung out again the week after their talk. Everything was going well until Jay made a smart comment about something hurtful Lee did in the past and killed the entire moment. And at that moment, Lee felt like she was never going to move past what happened with them in the past and decided it was best that they don't try again at the moment. Jay realized that she messed up, but it was too late. And the two still conversed over the phone almost every day up until Jay left to go to China, but it was nothing romantic anymore, and Jay was sad, but she knew there was nothing more she could do, especially with her moving to China. So, flash forward. Finally, she makes it to China for her new job. And she isn't as focused on things with Lee as she tries to adjust to her new life. On top of losing contact with him because of the phone changes and etc., she does think of him often and wonder how he's doing, but had no way to check. There was also no evidence of him trying to check on her either. She felt like since she hadn't heard from him in the 6 months she's been in China, that it really was over this time. So Jay began redirecting her thoughts and feelings for him on getting over him. She would tell herself things like, "He's not thinking of you. Why are you thinking of him? He hasn't even tried to contact you since you left." Only to find out that that wasn't true. See, recently, Jay checked her email from the States to retrieve a document. She hadn't logged on to her email since she moved away, basically. But anyway, when she's searching through the email, she finds 2 emails from Lee. One from October and the other from late January. Basically, him checking to see how she's doing in China. Jay was so caught off guard. Glad to know he thought about her even when she thought he didn't, but also emotional and confused because she was using the fact that she hadn't heard from him as a legit reason to move on because she thought he really didn't care. But now that she saw these emails, she had to respond. And now she's wondering if it's because he really cares and wants to be a part of her life for real, or if he's just being kind. He recently got a WeChat account so that they could communicate easier versus email. They've been catching up here and there, and they haven't discussed what happened before she left or their current feelings about each other. And she's too afraid to ask what's going on, but at the same time, she doesn't just want to be Lee's friend. She's not looking for them to start a relationship while she's in China, but she would like to know his intentions. Because if he's only interested in friendship ever, then she wants to continue not talking to him and continue to get over him. She's been working her brain and mind on what to do. She just doesn't have the courage to ask what's going on, but also afraid that she will give him too much energy and get hurt later for not asking. Sometimes going with the flow and playing it cool sounds good. Other times, it sounds dangerous for her emotionally. I don't want her to get hurt, but she is set on not asking him what's going on. So that's out of the question. What should I tell her? Signed, a concerned friend. So let me first start off by saying why I really like this letter. I feel like this letter is so diverse in experience, yet it so singularly aligns with, a common human experience that we go through with learning to be bold in our relationships and bold with love. Like, we are living in a world that is increasingly losing heart and afraid to have it and to wear it on our sleeves. And so I love that this letter is talking about that invulnerability that many of us feel that causes us to not enter into relationships that could potentially be really good for us. But signed, a concerned friend. I'm so glad that you're concerned for this friend, because really you're concerned for many people out in the world, because this story, this experience, I feel is universal. But you ask what you should tell her. And, you know, I've been in this experience many times where I've had feelings for someone. I, liked a person, but I did not say what I felt regarding it. And this is usually in the stage where I have a crush on somebody and I'm hoping that they have a crush on me too. But your friend is in a little bit of a different stage. Your friend has entered into like an emotional contract with a person where they have said, I like you, and this person has also said that I like you as well. And, you tell us a little bit about your friend. You say that her name is Jay. The guy that she likes is Lee. Jay doesn't, relatively has very few dating experiences. She went on her first date with Lee when she was 26, and then later shared her first kiss with Lee when she was 28. And how she really desires a relationship and marriage. And you you mentioned, you're like, oh, I'm not sure if this matters, but she's a virgin. And I want to say thank you for mentioning that, because I think it's important that we talk about how our sexuality impacts our dating life. So I want to kind of start there. Our sexuality and how we feel about our sexuality, if we're confident about it, if we are experiencing doubt regarding it, really translates into our material world around us, and that includes our relationships. So, I would want to know, does your friend feel truly confident about her decision to remain a virgin till marriage? It's a very honorable thing. Many of us have done it before. Many of us are still doing it. And many of us have not done it. And have fallen short of that goal, if it was a goal. But, when I was a virgin waiting till marriage, I kind of felt a sense of doubting my self-worth in a way, because I was like, I'm lacking an experience, I'm lacking something. Can I truly be confident and be in a relationship with someone and have them be confident in me and love me without this sexual relationship? So I would like to know that about your friend, is if she is experiencing that same type of doubt, and that doubt led me to, break my vow to want to remain a virgin until marriage. So that is one question I do have. You tell us that she's crazy about Lee, and he's a gentleman, he's patient, that you even think that she might even be in love with the guy. But that they've been talking on and off due to long distance, and Jay's expectations for pursuing her, that Jay has expectations for how he should pursue her, and when he falls short of that, she kind of pushes him away and cuts him off. And, I want to say that this topic of how you desire to be pursued needs to be looked at in a very nuanced and kind of moderate way for you to choose what is right for you. But what I believe is that, we all deserve and are deserving of having our own viewpoints about how we want to be loved and how we best feel loved. And I think that even works its way up to how we want to be pursued by a romantic partner. And so I don't think it's bad to have standards when it comes to how we want